Yo, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Nosy Sauce here with another live beat make. Welcome. I hope you're all having a good day. If you haven't seen this before, this is a video where I make a beat from scratch using Logic, the keyboard. I've got a template up here. I've got no ideas of what I'm doing, but I do know that I want to make a bit of a Boogie Wit Da Hoodie type beat. I don't know if all you guys are familiar with Boogie Wit Da Hoodie. He's got some really cool like melodic stuff, usually a bit like on that sadder trappy side, but a lot of his beats aren't that normal, so like they're not the traditional trap beats all the time, but yeah, we're going to be delving into some stuff like that. So I'm just going to get straight into it because you don't want to hear me talk, you want to hear me make a beat. And yeah, see if you learn anything from it. I'm going to be checking up to see if any of you have asked questions throughout it. So if you want to know anything about my process as I'm going, please ask. I'll try and answer it in real time. If I don't see it, I'll get back to you a bit later. And yeah, if you want to get any more information later on down the line, feel free to email me, text me, whatever you can find. Let's get straight into it because it's time to make a beat. I'm going to start with a chord progression. I'm going to use a piano to get my chord progression happening. I do have a lot of these synths already loaded up, so I'm just going to find something that works. And yeah, I'm going to crank that up a bit because you all can hear that. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to come up with a... That's a cool starting chord. Gonna work my way up from there. Not digging that. That's kind of cool. All right, there's a good start. I'm going to find a tempo. That's it. All right, there's a start. Let's go from there. Oh, fuck that up. Nope. Let's go again. That's what happens. All right, and I'm just going to copy that across. There's no use playing that again. Oh, that was bad. What happened there? Sometimes when you copy stuff across, the automation on your sustain pedal doesn't exactly go to plan. Okay, so what's happened is that hasn't gone where I thought it would go. That back, and that should. All right, chord progression, fairly simple. We're going to see where we take this. It's just a beginning right now. I'm going to bring up Decapitator now. So I recently just bought the Sound Toys bundle, and this guy has got to be one of my favorite plugins ever. Everyone always talked about Decapitator as being like a really cool distortion, overdrive, just saturation machine. And I kind of thought that I could get away without having it by having all these other plugins. But this thing is phenomenal. Just like... just makes everything sound so much darker and cooler. All right, cool. Digging that. Now we're going to bring in some other stuff to complement that sound. So I'm just going to slow that down a little bit. I'm down at 93 BPM now. I was at 98 before, so just slowed that down a bit to try and ease up some of that sound. Now, I'm going to put a bit of a bell sound in. I'll play around with a few different ones. Got this glass bell that I made using one of these guys and recording it. Did that a while ago and recorded the sound, turned it into a synthesizer, and that ended up making just a really cool synth sound. Of course, that's a bit affected, but all right, so I'm just trying to find a cool melody to go here. Oh, yeah. Let's try that again. And I love using my own samples in this kind of stuff because I love the idea that someone is not able to get the same sound as me because I created something that's completely unique. So that's one of my favorite things about this track. One thing I'm just going to do before I go any further is just save this track so I don't lose it. And this particular beat is going to be called Silk because that's the name of a Game of Thrones character, apparently. So Boogie Wit Da Hoodie type beat. Awesome. So let's say bell. I also want to add in a bit of melodic kind of thing, but I want to do it with like a marimba. So I'm going to get rid of all of the stuff that's on this one. Should have done this with an easier channel. But we do what we have to do sometimes. So I'm going to use Contact. Contact's got some really cool marimba sounds in it. And go to their factory library, which is usually the best place for just standard-ish stuff. And marimba, there we go. I mean, it's kind of cool. Let's rename that as marimba. Nope. Try that again. Let's try one more and see if we can get it both times. Alright, I may have screwed that up slightly with one of the notes. That's this one here. And we'll just going to quantize all that. That's sounds pretty dank, but I think I might push this whole thing up an octave. Alright, and although I do like the sound of the marimba itself, I'm going to replace the reverb with my own reverb and also put a delay on it because I love putting delay on stuff like this. What kind of delay? I'm not sure yet. I think I'm going to use this H delay, which is the standard like waves delay. Need to see the screen. Sorry, Brandon. I would love to see the to be able to put the camera on the screen, but I am too poor for that kind of thing, and I'm looking to get a new setup, but we'll see what kind of time we can do this in. Brandon's just asked if I can, well, said that I need to get a picture of the screen a little bit better, but I'm going to try and explain everything I'm doing so you don't need to see the screen, but I would love to have you guys see exactly what I'm doing here. If you do have any questions about any of it, please let me know, and I will definitely hit you up with any information. Cool. I have it over the shoulder. I guess I could have it over the shoulder, but then you guys wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing this way. Maybe for the next one, I'll set it up a little bit differently so you can see a little bit more of the screen. But yeah, you're gonna have to deal with that how it is right now, and I'll think about getting a new setup in the near future. So I'm just gonna set up this delay so it's a bit more stereo. I'm gonna take out some of the highs, some of the lows of the delay, put a bit of lo-fi vibe on there, and that's cool. Really dig the delay there. I'm going to throw reverb-wise the Abbey Road plate, which I love the sound of. It's just super saturated and like vintage sounding and drivey. Yeah. I dig it. The only thing I'm not digging right now is there's a bit of EQ I want to do. I'm going to throw on the SSL channel strip by Waves and find this peaking frequency that's giving me a bit of a really annoying sound. So just let me find that and I'll rip that out. There it is. And so we're sitting at like 1.4K. I'm just gonna So I've ripped out a whole bunch of the high end of that, pulled out that really sharp peaking frequency that's there as well. And also added a bit of compression. It's still a little bit too clean for me, so I'm also going to give it a little bit of saturation using, damn, I don't even know what I want to saturate this thing with. Let's try, I know Sound Toys have another saturator, so I want to try that. Radiator. Let's try that. So this is the Sound Toys Radiator. It's supposed to be like a tube stuff. Don't really like that. I'm not going to use that. What can I use instead? The sausage fat never will do anything. Just got this guy the other day. Nah, that kind of makes it too punchy. Not a big fan of that one. Sorry, you guys are going to have to deal with me trying to find the ultimate distortion for myself. NLS channel, this is a channel emulator from Waves. That's where we started. Alright. We're somewhere now. So I'm at about the point where I think I want to put the drums in. And True Glass Tap chord pads. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm going to start putting some drums in. So I'm going to bring up the drum section. One thing I know I really want is just that classic I kind of want a bit of a click slap snappy kind of vibe, so I'm going to find one that works there. But I also want to clap. There we go. So we've got a snap, a clap. I think I'm just going to edit those to make them sound really cool. But yeah, let's just record that in. really simple. And quantize that. And now I'm going to give these a little bit of a mess about EQ wise and whatnot. I'm just going to throw a virtual mix rack on there by Slate, and so this will give us a whole bunch of EQs, compressors, saturators, all that cool stuff to mess around with this. I'm going to start by putting in a tube saturation at the very start. I'm going to use this London, Hollywood, or New York. I don't know what they are, but it's pretty cool. Alright, actually, instead of using that compressor, I was using like this old school style compressor. I think I'd rather use a, what is it, distressor style plugin. Yeah. That's really tacky. All right, so that's taken a lot of the peaks out. Now I'm going to EQ it a little bit. I'm going to use the Neve style EQ. And that one too, I'm also adding more distortion on that. So all three, the tube drive, the distressor style compressor, and the Neve style EQ are all adding their own little color of like overdrive and distortion. So it's getting pretty filthy. I dig that. That's got a solid vibe to it. I'm now going to put a bit of reverb on there. So That's the snare drum pretty rocking. Fairly standard vibe up in here. I'm just going to. Kick drum's fairly basic. I'm going to replace the sound that we got there with something a little bit more like a natural kick, because I want to have like a big fat 808 stuff. What do I want? Oh, that's filthy. Let's go with that. All right. Also going to I like the sound of that kick drum, but maybe I don't. That's the one I want. That guy. I'm also going to change the envelope of it so that it's really quite a bit shorter. I didn't even layer it with something with a bit more high end. There we go. Let's try that guy. Right, so that guy's going to come down, and also got to change the envelope on that. So I'm doing like a bit of stuff. Try and get this kick like sounding pretty tight. Put a bit of reverb on there. I don't mind putting reverb on my kicks. I think that sounds sick. Makes it like way bigger. A lot of people don't like it because it ruins the low end, but I rip all the low end out of my reverb itself. So actually, no, I don't. But I don't think it really does that much. Sorry if you're hearing my windows rattling. That is just the bass. Wow. That is some fat 808 sound right there. Really simple hi-hat pattern. I'm just going to throw this in there as well. How did I mess that up? Really simple hi-hat pattern. So I'm going to throw a shaker in there as well. Just super simple. Quantize all that. And so find a nice clip. Click Davis, there we go. Alright, I dig that pattern, I don't dig the sound anymore. Maybe that one. Let's record it and see what else we can get. Now we're going to find side stick. Shit. Too aggressive. Jesus. This one. I ended up with going with a bit more of a natural vibe on that guy. Yo, what's going on? Thanks for waves, everybody. Good to see some people watching this, having a good time. Making a beat right now if you've just joined. Making a Boogie Wit Da Hoodie type beat. Just on the drums right now, getting some percussion patterns happening. Alright. I want to now modulate this. So I'm going to throw on a... Let's try the Pan Man. I haven't messed with this yet. This is Pan Man by... this is kind of boring, actually. Sound Toys. I'm going to not use Pan Man. Instead, I'm going to use... Phase Mistress. This is also by Sound Toys. I'm going to turn off that click. I'm also going to use a tremolo to push this around to the sides a little bit, so it's got a little bit of movement side to side. So it's going to be phasing and also moving side to side, so it'll have a little bit of vibe to it. Cool. Really dig that. That is where I want it to be. I like this for the chorus. One thing, oh God, I fucked up. One thing I want to do now is copy it across, and I want to get rid of the piano and instead put a bit of a fake bass guitar sound in there, and that's what we're going to use for the like kind of the low end, the low mid range end for the verses to kind of give the overall track like a bit of movement between sections. So instead of having the big held out chords and 808s, it's going to be a little bit more staccato, as long as it sounds cool. So we're gonna have a play around with some of that stuff and see what happens. Let's try that. Turns out I can't play it. something. I'm going to play around with that a little bit, but that's where we're going to start. One thing I've got to do, make sure, is I'm going to get rid of this last 808 at the end of the phrase, so that. All right, so that bass is hella loud. I don't know why it's so goddamn loud. Not 100% down with the bass tone that we got going there. So I'm going to get rid of that scarly bass that we're using and try the nope, don't want to know with that one. There's a few different basses to try. Rickenbacker bass. This one doesn't have. Jesus. Way too much. I'm just trying to find a good. Nope. Nope. No. Dig the sound of that. One thing I'm going to do is throw in a filter and rip out all the high end on that channel. And also, just going to make sure there's no notes that are overlapping. So when I played it, I had lots of overlapping notes, and I just want the space to be pretty tight. Yeah, just getting rid of all the overlaps on the notes. Probably should have played it better, but here we go. Another thing I want to do with this sound is, I don't know if it's possible with this guy. I'd love to release. Here we go. Release decay. I'm also going to throw a mini on there, so just a like standard bass synthesizer, and I'm going to use just a pretty simple just to kind of like back up the low end of this. Oh no. All right, sorry Instagram guys. Instagram stops videos after 1 hour, so my Instagram got cut off, but now we're back. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, welcome back. Last thing I want to do with that bass guitar is put on a little bit of reverb on there. I know reverb on kicks and bass is a no-no, but I'm doing it on both, so you all can bite me. Just want to get a little bit of room sound. So I just think it sounds so much cooler having a bit of room vibe in sound. So I'm going to use sampled acoustics. I'm just going to use a small room. Actually, use a recording studio sound from. I'm just going to pick a random one, see if I can make it sound good. That sounds cool. All right, probably should have done before. I'm going to get all of these on all the basses and make it so that they are all the exact same velocity, because I don't need. All right, cool. That is going to be the main part of my whole beat. So we've got piano, marimba, bells providing a pretty good low end for the whole, melodic structure and all that for the chorus. We've got some really standard kicks and snare with a bit of reverb, massive 808 in there, and pretty simple sparse percussion and cymbals running throughout. So during the verse, the piano and the 808 cut out, and I put a bass guitar, a Moog Mini style bass sound. So there's going to be a little bit of changes throughout the song, but it's mostly going to stay pretty much the same. Having said that, I'm going to start doing my arranging now and see where we go from here. So it's going to start off with just the piano and the marimba. So I'm trying to cut the trying to make it like it, so I'm cutting things out, putting things in every 4 bars or so to kind of keep the interest happening. I've done it in the second verse. I want to try and make it a little bit more interesting in the first verse. So I'm going to cut out the bells at the start of this one. Cut off that last kick. We need that. Last kicks are getting kicked off each of the things because I don't think they're needed. So I'm just going to copy that across to It sounds better. I already got the 808 out of that, so that's cool. It's about time. I'm just going to delete a lot of the synths and stuff that I'm not really using, so that I'm not using all my processing power and space looking at all that crap. That's much better. Wow. Cool. Gonna throw my riser in on this guy before the choruses. It's my signature riser. If you've seen me make a beat before, you've seen me use this, because I use it on pretty much every beat I make. It just sounds good, and it's my favorite riser. And I made it myself, so it's a bit of a signature sound. Hear anyone using this, it's probably on a beat, it's probably solid for me. So it's just a pretty basic riser though, but I dig the sound of it. It's made by clapping in a stairwell and recording that, so that's kind of cool. All about sound design and shit here, creativity and whatnot. Yeah, that sounds so much better. Just gonna whip out the last bar of these basses right here. vibe on that. Jump into the next line. I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. Don't need that. And going to do the same thing for the very last one as well. Consistency is cool, especially when you find something good. Stop doing it. Thanks for the love, guys. This piano cool, but I do want to throw a little bit more low end in it, so I'm just going to bring up a EQ and just pump up that low end a little bit. Like the low mids kind of stuff is could use a little bit of a punch to it. So what am I doing? Use the Waves MEQ5, which is based off a Cooltech style EQ. Cool. Really dig that. The arrangement I'm pretty happy with. Fairly simple, but I'm just going to check the ending doesn't go too long. Hush. That's what you get. To extend that a little bit. All right. So now I've got the arrangement sorted. I'm going to throw my beat tag at the start because you all need to know who did this. I'm just going to stretch that so it fits the rhythm of the beat. Actually, I'm going to delete that one, put in another one that doesn't have. One of my beat tags has a gunshot sound in it, and the other one does not. So I'm going to choose the one that does not have a gunshot sound in it for this one. Because I don't need that. Sauce on that beat. Nah, too much. Okay. Some sauce on the beat, bitch. Yeah. That is cool. Finally, I'm going to do a little bit of mixing and mastering just to get the final levels all nutted out exactly how I want them. So I'm just going to repeat the chorus a couple of times and just check all my EQs. Check the levels. Get it sounding fat. So that sounded pretty good. I'm pretty stoked with how this is all going. So I'm going to finish up this beat now, where it is. Actually, just before I do, I'm just going to check that the bass in the verse isn't too hectic. Just had to even those out a little bit. So I'm just going to do one more playthrough, start to finish, just to give you a final taste of how it all went. If you need to know anything about the recording process of this whole thing, any mixing tips, any beat making tips you guys want, please just let me know and I'll be happy to answer anything you've got. If you want to buy this, it's going to be called Silk. It's going to be out in about a month's time. But if you want to hit me up earlier, definitely feel free to give me a shout out. This is it, Silk, a Boogie Wit Da Hoodie type beat. Enjoy.
Throwing some sauce on that beat, bitch.
And that is it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope to catch you guys next time. Have a good one. Until then, see you later.